Say the name Galileo, and most people picture the astronomer standing before scowling Inquisition judges, forced to recant his claim that the Earth revolves about the Sun. In other words, Galileo was forced to recant his claim that the Earth was in motion. It didn't matter what he proposed, it revolved around. That's a side issue. The controversy was that he was proposing that the Earth was in motion after collaborating with the Jesuits. However, the Holy Roman Empire principally and ever so staunchly believed the following doctrine to be a matter of truth, a matter of earth science long before Galileo's Jesuit-instigated proposal, which is why the controversy arose. The Holy Roman Empire, and all empires and civilizations preceding it, believed the following to be true concerning the earth. Psalms 93:1. The world also established, that it cannot be moved. Psalms 104:5. Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever. Should not be removed from the foundations. However, the way this narrative is presented to us, one would think that the controversy was just what the earth was revolving around, but that was never the case. In other words, the chatter about the sun is irrelevant. But let's go back to the ancient Greek philosophers, of which we hear so much about. The scheme has always been to point to the ancient Greek philosophers and what they knew concerning the shape of the earth. So let's do that, shall we? Aristotle advocated the view that Thales of Miletus was the first natural philosopher. So that's a good start, the father of the Western philosophers. According to the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy, a peer-reviewed resource,
Josephus wrote that Thales was a disciple of the Egyptians and the Chaldeans, which suggests that he visited the Near East. It is thought that Thales visited the Babylonians and Chaldeans and had access to the astrological records, which enabled him to predict the solar eclipse of 585 BCE. Thus, Thales had the scoop on what was going on with the celestials, and Earth doesn't seem to be an exception.
He was the first of the long line of mathematicians of ancient Greece. Thales is known to have traveled widely, including to Egypt, the Egyptians, and Babylon, the Babylonians, seeking knowledge. So, Thales has a lot of knowledge, and this knowledge led him to what understanding, what thought process? Thales's theory about the cause of earthquakes is consistent with his hypothesis that Earth floats upon water, the father of the ancient Greek philosophers. The devil's always in the details.
Wherefore, the patriarch of the ancient Greek philosophers, having access to various forms of knowledge and from far and wide, would not align himself with the practice of pointing to the Greek philosophers as evidence of one of these. The Babylonians and the Egyptians preceded the Greeks, and their knowledge is most fundamental in principle, carrying to the very beginning of history. It's highly unlikely that the first Greek philosopher, a disciple of a founding civilization, was in dispute with any of what he learned from the Babylonians. I find it curious the approach to point to some ancient knowledge but always exclude what the Egyptians, the Chaldeans and the Babylonians understood, despite their most foundational position in any such chronology. For these reasons, the billions of years science dogma where gravity formed the Earth, in an evolutionary manner, on an evolutionary timetable, by way of natural selection, into this novel shape while hurling through space, would have been dismissed out of hand as the belief of a lunatic, not a mathematician and a prolific seeker of knowledge.